Hello, everyone, and welcome to the next installment of the Young Executive Society's Coffee or Tea. I don't know if you've had a time or a moment to check out the initial three installments, but they've all been very enjoyable. So I'm looking forward to kind of carry on that trend right now. My name is Dave Walker. I'm the procurement manager at Independent Mechanical Supply, and joining me here is Josh Hopkins, national sales manager at Odie.
Hi there.
To just give you some background on what we're going to do today is we're going to start with a speed round of some rapid fire questions, just kind of a silly this or that sort of exercise to break the ice. And then we're going to move into a bit about, what makes Josh Josh and who he is, and then also some of his experiences in the industry. So to kick things off with probably the most fun round of the interview. Are you ready?
Let's have it.
All right. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Red or blue?
Blue.
iPhone or Android?
iPhone.
Breakfast or dinner?
Dinner.
Country or city?
City.
Concert or sport event?
That changed at one point in my life, actually. I would have said concert way back when, but I don't think I'd like a concert anymore. It's a sporting event.
Mountains or beach?
Beach.
Camping or cottaging?
Cottaging.
Wine or beer?
Again, another one that changed. I used to travel through beer, enjoying all the local things, but I gotta say wine.
Really? You're a wine guy now?
Yeah.
Damn, I never would have expected that one. Phone calls or texts?
It depends on the person, but overall text.
Cool. Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Do you have a dog?
I do.
What's his or her name?
Gizmo. He's a 12-pound Shorkie.
Nice. Like after Gremlins?
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Where are we? Pizza or sushi?
Pizza.
Windows or Mac?
Windows.
Video games or board games?
Video games.
Pictures or videos?
Pictures.
Dine in or take out?
Dine in.
Pool or hot tub?
Pool.
Sleep in or early riser?
I see a change in that as well, but I'm going to say early riser.
Are you're changing into an early riser?
Yeah. I used to. Growing up, I definitely would have been a sleep in, but certainly since kids and getting busier with work, I try to get up and start the day and get an exercise before 8 a.m.
Nice. Well, that wraps it up for our speed round. Points to you on being speedy, and we'll move on to the next round. We got to get a bit of a piece of who you are, but just what do you do in your spare time? What do you like to do? Hobbies? What makes Josh Josh?
So I like first and foremost, it's spending time with family, watching my kids grow up. I've got two young kids, watching them develop into real little people. It's been a lot of fun, and we're starting to go to their sporting events now, and little soccer classes, and little kickers, and that. Probably more recently in my life, I'd say exercise and being competitive overall. When I was younger, I wasn't competitive at all. I also don't think I was good at sports or athletic. As time went on and started getting in better shape and stuff, I've noticed like my wife and I are like fiercely competitive now, almost in anything to do with athleticism at all. Hold each other to each other's records and constantly try and beat each other's records on everything. Mostly in running, actually, like running and jogging, which has become a bit of a passion of both of ours lately.
Nice.
But other than that, softball is a big one, if and when it can take place. Looks like it's going to be canceled again this year, but
yes, softball tournament.
Yeah,
I missed that.
But yeah,
cool. And then I guess moving away from the personal side of things, on the professional side, just go over what your current role is and what is it is that you kind of do on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, so I am the Director of National Sales for Canada, for Odie Canada. And so I oversee a team of sales agencies, coast to coast, selling into the wholesale plumbing space, wholesale distributors, building material, pool and spa, things like that. Day to day, kind of open the day, look at my series of reports, see orders in, orders out, where we're tracking for the month, like that. Lots of meetings, to be honest. More meetings in the past 2 years for sure. Every conversation is now a meeting, but a lot of communication with the team, a lot of questions from the field, from reps and customers, cross-referencing, pricing, quoting jobs out, and then if time permits, even some strategy. Shut everything off, stare at a wall, and see what comes.
Yeah. Did you ever picture yourself in this kind of role or in this line of work?
No, not at all. Not at all. Actually, I had visions at one point of being somewhat tied into film production. Actually, the film production crew, like not an actor or director. Like I wanted to hold a mic or do something. And I just didn't know the pathway to do anything like that at the time. So I kind of got into more towards the trades, tool and die specifically. So started doing some training there, and then just ended up working part-time at GF Thompson, which is the owner of the Masters brand, which worked there for about 15 years before they were acquired by Odie in 2018. So kind of worked my way up through the ranks at GF Thompson. As I said, started as a part-time job, kind of saw some opportunity, kind of a gap year type of job, work and make some money, and then opportunities kind of opened up, some travel opportunities and learning opportunities, and it kind of branched into marketing. So ended up going back to school and get some footing on marketing side, and eventually into a sales territory, eventually into sales management, and kind of where we are today.
Wow, that's quite the path,
Yeah.
like, and
Yeah.
quite the difference from being in the film and movie industry to sales and plumbing and construction is that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You mentioned something that you were with GF Thompson, who then got acquired by Odie. What was that experience like? It's something that we see a lot in the industry, acquisitions. How was that for you, and how's it been since moving on to Odie?
Yeah, well, Dave, to be honest, it was very nerve-wracking when I first heard the news. Kind of scary. As I said, kind of invested 15 years of my life into a company, and then there was an end, or a potential end in sight. But the Odie group, that was part of the acquisition, which I'm still very close with today, were very forthcoming about intentions and the spot that I would have, and the view of my future with the company. And I had to have some faith in what they were telling me, and I saw no reason not to. So it was a scary time, and we were just having our second child at the time as well. So timing couldn't have been better. But it was interesting transition, and it's been a huge learning curve. But it's been a good one, because I always kind of longed for a bit more structure than maybe we had at GF Thompson. We had structure, but we kind of reacted quick and we were nimble, and in some cases flew by the seat of our pants. And whereas now it's a lot more structured, strategic. But I like that. I like seeing a path and stage gate and all the structured procedures.
Right.
So I actually do enjoy it.
Perfect then. Great.
Yeah.
Do you have any favorite moments or favorite wins, I guess, you've had while being in the industry?
Yeah, and actually, this it's a good segue because I think the best or most memorable success story that I'd have kind of relates to that acquisition and the transition. Um, so both GF Thompson and Odie were both part of a buying group for many years, and this particular buying group has Supplier of the Year awards, and they rank suppliers by all sorts of different metrics, deliverables, product quality, customer service, all these things, and every year they award a Supplier of the Year in large volume and regular volume and most improved. And GF Thompson had been the recipient of that honor, I think 3 or 4 years, and we've been nominated a couple of years, so we're pretty high on ourselves and the job we did, and we were very very proud that our customers recognized that in us. The first year that we were Odie Canada as a team, we actually ended up getting nominated for this award, which is the first time that Odie had ever been nominated in the history of these awards. So I think that said a lot, and it really sent a message to Odie corporately that they had made the right decision. And it was after the award ceremony. We didn't win, but we were happy to be nominated. We couldn't wait to get out to the hallway to phone the people from the acquisition that were involved in the acquisition and our leaders to let them know the news, because big story.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the only thing that might kind of top that, the hype and the exhilaration of sharing that, was that the second year, when we weren't in kind of flux, that was that a GF Thompson win or was that an Odie Canada win? The second year we were Odie Canada, and we got nominated again.
Nice.
So it set us off on a very very good path again, and it just again further reassuring that we were the team and what we brought and the faith that our customers had in us as the team, and I guess further reassured folks in the US, like we made a good acquisition here. This was a good call to keep things in place.
That's a great story. I remember working with GF Thompson, and you guys were great, and now working with Odie. Odie is also really easy and smooth to work with, and it's I'm not surprised that you guys were nominated, but it's really cool that their first nomination came after the acquisition, and then also followed that up with the consistency and getting nominated again. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Very cool. Pivoting a little bit, what do you see as some of the biggest opportunities in the industry these days?
So kind of in what we're doing here today, in the digital world, social media. I know Dave, you and I have talked about some opportunities in social media before, and seen some real engagement that's been able to take place between vendors, between distributors, contractors. I think that's a huge opportunity that it's starting to really get some recognition by a lot of companies. It's never too late, but I think a lot of companies and a lot of the decision has been put off because social media for business is kind of scoffed at, I think, and undervalued as to what can you really drive, and can you really get sales out of social media? Can you really get support out of social media? But if we look at social media influencers, like this stuff works, and I know a couple of things I've experienced myself in engaging on behalf of Odie Canada and building relationships with contractors who are on here, and I first name basis, like phone call away. I can visit a number of these people when we can visit, and they'll welcome me with open arms because I've helped them out through a different channel.
Mhm.
They're a lot more comfortable reaching out through DMs than they are phoning customer service. And I can answer them middle of the night if I want to, or they can reach me on a Saturday. Um, and it, from a relationship building standpoint as well, like I can see like I can see that they have a family, what they're interested in. Um, from a from that standpoint, like I can identify like, hey, I'm a lot more like this person than I would have thought, and I wouldn't have picked that up in a making a sales call in the back of the shop or on a job site. That personal play doesn't come in. And in addition to that, I mean, there's certainly trolls out there. When companies are going to be nervous about starting a social media presence, because what if people don't like me? What if people say nasty things about my company or my product? That's going to happen. But take that in stride and realize like at least they're saying it. You are giving them a platform to say it, and you can build from that. You can improve from that. If you're not giving them the platform, or you're hiding from it, then like you'll never know that you're terrible at something, or that
Mhm.
that product was designed poorly. Use it constructively.
It's a great point. I think, yeah, social media, especially in this industry, has kind of been, I guess, swept under the carpet a little bit just because traditionally they just don't kind of marry up very well. And I think, but the new generation of contractors and plumbers and whatnot are starting to come through that use those things. And like you said, even, we always talk about how it's such a relationship based industry. And yeah, cold calling someone, making an in that way is so difficult. But, if you see their story and they have a, softball kind of video or something, to talk about the Blue Jays, or, to talk about,
Exactly.
the come play for the S softball tournament or something like that, and just to create those connections is it's great. And the funniest thing too is like I just started to kind of get into this a bit this year, is like realizing that I always thought social media influencers were people that peddle like small brands and stuff like that, but like there's actually like a whole tradesman influencer type of, like, people love showing off their work and love showing new products, new technologies. And I was like, it blows my mind that there's like this whole hidden sort of segment of social media influencers in our industry. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, yeah. In our industry, it's the tradespeople are doing an excellent job of it. They are really driving it. Exactly as you said, they're proud of their work. They want to post. They want to get opinions. It's pretty exciting.
And yeah, like, you talk about the trolls and stuff like that. Like, people are way more vocal on social media because anyone can be strong and forthcoming behind a keyboard. But it's like you guys did a you know dope first or tape first, and it's things like that where it's like people will post a video of them doing stuff, and people are always so vocal to say like, oh no, I would do it this way, or I would do it this way. And it's like it's a great learning platform because the amount of things that I've learned just from watching the odd video of people putting connections together or whatever, it's really cool. It's been great.
Yep,
Highly recommend people like kind of dive into the social media aspect, if not just for like sales aside, just for learning and connection forming. It's great.
absolutely.
This next question is kind of like pretty cool for me to ask because I'm about to ask you if you can reflect on a mentor in your industry, but it's kind of neat because I've kind of always looked at you as a mentor to me in the industry. When I first started, you were with GF Thompson, and you always showed me a lot of respect and always gave me the time, and then also were pretty responsible for getting me involved in CIPH and yes. So it's kind of fun to ask you this question. But so who is kind of your mentor in this industry?
Yeah. Well, first off, that's really nice to say, Dave. I appreciate that. And yeah, that means a lot. Um, so to answer your question, I've had a number, and I think it evolves. Like the need for a mentor evolves to the situation, and and I don't want to say the usefulness of different mentors. It is depends on the situation too. Um, I started off. I think the most of mine were in GF Thompson, GF Thompson days, because I was younger and I was eager to learn, and people were vocal. If anybody knows GF Thompson, people were vocal. So our controller, Vicky D'Alessandro, taught me a ton, kind of opened the door and let me see a little bit into what we were doing and why, and explain some procedures to me, which was the first time really anybody had done that with me in my career. Like, it's not just you do this because it's your job or because I say so. This is why we're doing it. And that opened the door, and it kind of taught me a lot about how to manage people. The next one was Martin McKay, who's the national sales manager, and at one point he was the warehouse manager at GF Thompson, and he kind of made me his right hand man in the warehouse. Did a bunch of projects for him and saw a bunch of different opportunities, and put me on these things to learn about them, and just grow from it. And then on the sales side of things, again, in a different role, Martin was there again when he became the national sales manager, and kind of started teaching me a little bit more about that as I transitioned out of warehouse into our marketing team. He was very vocal about, yeah, I've worked with Josh before. I want to work with Josh again on the marketing side, and teach some of those things. And so he taught me a lot about the sales cycle and relationships, and how we did things. But how we did things was, it's very transferable. And then certainly Mike McKay, kind of always joke about my mom always refers to him as your real father, because he just taught me so much. It kind of took me under his wing and taught me everything that he could, about the overall business, and gave me a lot of opportunities. He was never shy about offering an opportunity to let me sink or swim. And if I was sinking, he'd bail me out and explain how to swim. It was, yeah, and that kind of got me to where I am today, and obviously, like, strive to always continue learning, and I couldn't have learned the corporate culture, the OD corporate culture, with these people, and without the assistance of some of the folks from the Cleveland side as well, and building up some of
Awesome.
that culture.
Yeah, really, really nice to hear those stories. I think in any position, having strong mentorship from, like you said, numerous places to learn lots of different things and become multifaceted. It's so important to just have those, like, kind of senior experiences that can be shared to really grow. And I think that's important lesson for anyone, is that share your knowledge, share your experiences, help your people grow, whether they're whether they're with you, with your company, or not. I think it's important, because surround yourself with good people and you'll be successful, right? So
yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. So this brings us pretty much to the end. Just have one last question, and I'm really happy that Yes and CIPH is putting on this this interview series, and kind of just wondering, what does CIPH and Yes, what do both those what do both those mean to you?
They've been incredibly important. Both pieces have been incredibly important to my development, and where I am today. CIPH in general, I think it's an amazing platform for people to get involved in. Certainly, the meetings, getting involved in a council or a committee, allows you to possibly work with a competitor, work with a customer, on a different level. You can kind of let the guard down a little bit, and take off your sales hat and your buyer hat, and just work together, and, like, learn about one another, and work towards a common goal that's good for the industry. Everyone's got their agendas, but it's just, like, it's not so obvious. It's just people, like-minded people, working to a goal. That it's helped a ton of develop a ton of relationships along the way. You and I think we a lot of our relationship comes from CIPH and interactions that were brought forth, or opportunities that were brought forth by those events. Yes, the Young Executive really taught me the ins and outs, I think, of CIPH, how the meetings run, how to conduct yourself in meetings a little bit, and that helped me in other realms as well, like as it became more involved in some of the other councils, committees, the regional board, and that just learning how to talk in those meetings, how to conduct yourself in those meetings, and properly represent who you're representing. And the S group's a phenomenal group. It's I hope it continues for years and years and years. It's an excellent way for the young people in the industry to get involved and start seeing what CIPH has to offer, and some of the things that I've mentioned here, just in terms of relationship building for the future, because a lot of us are going to be in this industry working together for a very long time. So might as well plant the seeds early.
For sure. There's always the joke, once you get in, you never leave the industry. Yeah. So for any people that are just starting to get involved in the industry, don't let that scare you. But various events that CIPH and YES put on, they're great for networking and just kind of, like you said, learning the ins and outs, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Josh. This has been a lot of fun. We don't get to catch up as much as we normally would due to COVID, but it was great to catch up and hear some of the stories that I hadn't heard before. And thank you so much for dedicating the time to do this and make this another successful installment of Coffee or Tea. So the next installment will probably be dropping in August. I believe Chris Rock from Watts will be interviewing Andrew McDonald, who is the Management Development Program at EMCO. So make sure you tune in August for that one. And once again, Josh, thank you so much for your time and for a great interview.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity.
No problem.
Appreciate it.